I asked them what they thought the biggest problems sort of facing the world or their lives were. And I expected it to be a kind of gripe session about Brexit, about these backward, old-fashioned people who were just wanted to disconnect England from the world. That's what I expected, and what I heard instead was exactly what you just said, almost to a person. They said, "Our lives are just completely fragmented. We don't know anyone. We can't develop deep friendships. Most of our lives are spent, sort of traveling between some flat outside of London and sitting on a tube, with these things in my ears and shutting everyone out, and then having some kind of fleeting interaction with people in the workplace, and then coming home at night." That's like an epidemic of kind of disconnection, was what I heard. And these were people who we would call successful, and by some measure we would call them happy, or at least had the external conditions of happiness. If Steven Pinker were studying them, he would say this is what constituted happiness, right? It was just absolutely stunning to me that in a kind of open forum of talking about what were the great challenges of modern life, that would be the thing that above all they continued to repeat. And this is really the argument of the book that I wrote, Why Liberalism Failed. It's, as you know, the thesis is not that liberalism failed because it fell short. The thesis is that liberalism failed because it succeeded. And one of the ways that it succeeds is precisely, I love the way you describe this as reducing the touch points, or the contactless society. That's one of the ways you mark its success, because the ideal of the liberal worldview is one in which the demands on my personal sense of duty and obligation are minimized to the point of nil. Right? They are reduced to the point where all of my interactions can either be handled by the market or by the mechanisms of the state through welfare programs and so forth. So that while I have a good heart, and any of these people with these minimal touch points will all say, I'm a person of the left. I believe we need to take care of the disadvantaged and so forth. Liberalism in some way says you shouldn't have to do that yourself. We'll have all these depersonalized mechanisms to arrange for that. In his great essay on The Revolt of the Elites by Christopher Lasch, whose name I mentioned, he has a great line where he says, the new elite, this meritocracy, has all of the sort of privileges and position of the old aristocracy without the noblesse oblige. So they have all of their vices and none of their virtues. And it's the achievement of this condition of this depersonalized, non-touch society that, on the one hand, as I was just saying, is the source of deep, profound political conflict in our world. But if my experience and your experience is any indication, it's also a source of deep discontent and unhappiness among the people who arguably are most benefiting from these arrangements. So why do we keep doing this?